I used to get requests to review Dragon Ball Z games all the time, but that eventually quelled because I just kept telling people I'm not really into the Dragon Ball series. I mean, I'll watch it if it's on, but I just don't go out of my way to, see anything from the series. That was until Dragon Ball FighterZ. Mostly because of Android 21 and the massive amount of waifu fan art of her. There was one Dragon Ball Z game that I did play quite a bit. Not out of choice, and I think it was Budokai 2. I don't remember, but it came out when I was in college around 2003, 2004, 2005? I don't know. It's because my friends, all my friends really, bought copies of the game, so that was the game to play, and it was either that or sleep while I watched them. So Dragon Ball games just flew under my radar until this one. And while Android 21 kinda sold me on the game, it wasn't until I found out who the developer was. Arc System Works, the creators of one of my favorite fighting games, Guilty Gear, so I knew that I had to play this one. Oh yeah, when I found out that Arc System Works was making the game, I had to get it. They're the developers of my favorite fighting game series, which is Guilty Gear. Android 21 was just the final piece to sell me on it at full price. It's silly, I know, but everything else about it looks so good, and with Beerus being one of my favorite DBZ characters, it was hard for me not to buy it. This was also the last time Bulma's Japanese voice actress would voice her, as she passed away in November of 2017. I can see why Bandai Namco got Arc System Works to develop the game. Look at it. Like Guilty Gear Xrd, they made it look like a 2D animated game, when in fact it uses 3D models, and it's animated very well, and it's like playing an actual anime. And with the voice cast reprising all their roles, the music and sound effects, I don't think that they can ever go back to what they were doing beforehand, which in all honesty I wouldn't know because I don't follow the DBZ fighting games. And this game controls very well. It's very responsive, and I really enjoyed that I was able to pick up and play the game. Now, I was expecting the game to play similar to Guilty Gear, King of Fighters, or Street Fighter, but it's actually closer to Super Smash Bros. Every character controls relatively the same with a few minor differences. X, Y, and B are your light, medium, and heavy attacks, while A is a key attack. And you can use quarter circle forward or back with RT to use special attacks. Because the characters control the same like the Smash Bros. Series, it's all a matter of how you use their attacks. Quarter circle forward and A with Goku will perform a Kamehameha attack, but with Beerus he'll spawn 6 orbs around him, which can be attacked and bounced around. Krillin will do something, I don't know the name of his attack, but it's not the Destructo Disc. That's one of his specials. It's all a matter of how you use the characters and their abilities. It's not about memorizing complicated button combinations. And I know there's fighting game fans out there that like those complicated button combinations. I like them too for certain games. But sometimes you just don't want to memorize, you want to jump in and play. And I'm glad that this game does that. The story mode will let you play as Goku as you rescue the other Z fighters, as Android 21 seems to have unleashed clones of the Z fighters and past enemies that they've encountered like Frieza and Cell. Clearing the story will unlock Android 21, and getting Goku and Vegeta to level 40 will unlock their Super Saiyan Blue forms. But I've heard that there's another way to unlock their Super Saiyan Blue forms, so I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it, because I haven't done it yet. I didn't care much for the story mode. I skipped through all the cutscenes because I just wanted to get through it. And what was really kind of a turn-off was the board game-like style of it. It was also rather long. I'm used to story modes in games being quite short. Maybe play 9 rounds and then you've beaten that character's story. This is like the length of its own DBZ saga. But if you're a DBZ fan, it's not going to matter and you're going to love it. I can guarantee that. If you're a fan of the Budokai series, you may be disappointed with how this game plays, as I remember Budokai 2 being pretty intricate when it came to combat.
Almost insane levels of intricate. Just keep in mind that's what I can remember. As I said in the beginning, I really didn't play the Budokai games by choice. But if you remember those games, there was times where you would be normal Goku, then you could transform into Super Saiyan 2, and Super Saiyan 3, you could use Sensu Beans and fusions, and you were able to mess up or interrupt those fusions and all that. You may also be disappointed with the roster of characters, because there's only about 21 characters that you can play as, which is about average for fighting games, but there have been bigger rosters in fighting games and in previous DBZ fighting games before. And you can see that one of the big influences this game took from was Marvel vs. Capcom, where you're given 3 fighters and it's very fast-paced action, and you can switch between the characters mid-fight, and the fighter that you had will regain health up to a certain point. Your teammates can also pop in to assist you for a brief moment. The game is extremely flashy. If you defeat an opponent in a flashy way, you'll see them fly off into the distance, or you'll see a Kamehameha from space. And then when the next opponent comes in, the game shows them rushing in and your character flying towards them, and they crash into each other and the fight continues. The lobby is cool, if not a little overdone. You're given an avatar that's based on an existing DBZ character, and you get to customize its look from loot boxes that you buy from in-game currency that is only earned through playing the game. You do not spend real money to get them. I found this to be a little more form over function. It looks great, but it's one of those things that makes you wonder, is it too much though? A lot of people that have played the game that I talked to have agreed with me that in the way that it operates, the game does have a Super Smash Bros. Feel to it mixed with Marvel vs. Capcom. I did have to get a few other opinions from other people just to see if I was the only one that felt this way, which is probably why I enjoy this game so much. I love Smash's simple control, I like Guilty Gear's flashy combat, and I like the frantic fast pace of Marvel vs. Capcom. And it's great to have them all rolled together in a single game that I found myself really enjoying.
This was a really fun game, and I am so glad that I took the gamble and paid full price for it because I really enjoyed it. And there's so much potential for a lot more Dragon Ball characters in it. I know that Bardock and this shows how much I follow the Dragon Ball franchise. The one with the big muscles. That doesn't narrow it down. Broly. Bardock and Broly are going to be DLC characters coming pretty soon. But knowing Arc System Works and their track record, there will probably be a game little down the line that's going to have a lot more characters, refinement, stuff like that, probably called Dragon Ball FighterZ X Revolution or something.